Oh my gosh, Joey, we're back.
We're
Somehow
here.
the keys to the studio worked again. I mean, they haven't
Nice.
changed the locks on us, man. Good to see you, brother. How's your week
Uh,
been?
it's been a good week. Yeah. I haven't ridden at all yet this week. I've been a little under the weather, but I'm feeling better today. So
Oh, that's good. Did you get
yeah.
the sickness that's going around?
I caught a little bit of something my son had, but
Oh
not nearly as
man.
bad as him. But yeah, just
Okay.
enough to make me lethargic. Nothing too bad though.
Nothing too bad. Got
Yeah.
that strong immune system.
Yeah. Yeah.
Joey, we are joined obviously by a whole slew of people out here. Emmanuel Jimenez, the Purple Heart vet out there, he's asking if he got the whole shot. Maybe we'll release it here in a
Maybe.
little bit. He might have been early. He might have been early. Kaz Ozeki, what's up, Kaz? Good to see you, brother. He is saying he is on the trails at Benelli. Finally, something to listen to. He's at Benelli Bike Park right now.
Nice.
That's freaking sick.
I'm
That
jealous.
is that is awesome. I'm glad you're out there getting it, getting it. We got Trail Monster coming in hot out of Arizona. What's up, Trail Monster? Good to see you, Neil. Mountain Bike Q&A out of Miami, fellow podcast. Wait, both of these are fellow podcasters. We got
Yeah.
Miami and we got Arizona podcasters in the house. Good to see you all. Um, we have a great guest tonight. It is, for all of you who don't know, I don't know how this happened, but big shout out and thank you to Jess the Maker for helping us get in touch with not only Stan's No Tubes, the president of Stans, Mr. Mike Bush, is backstage waiting to talk to you all. And man, I just learned tonight, Joey, we just learned he's been with the company coming up on 20 years. So if you all in the chat have any questions at all, feel free to ask. And he either knows it or has known it and
Nice.
forgot it because he's been there for a while, which is amazing. Um, Beyond X is in here. What's up? What's up, Colorado? Joey, like we always do. And there are giveaways tonight for the show. So all you
Nice.
got to do for the folks that are live is just put something in the comments and you will be entered to win.
Oh, I
Mike's
gotta
been
do a
so
wheel.
kind to do this. Yeah, we're going to do a spin the wheel.
Okay. I'll get
Should we do
that
this?
ready.
Thank you, Joey. Should we do a spin the wheel or should we do a giveaway for the whole shot tonight?
Whole shot, of course.
Yeah, whole shot. Okay,
Yeah.
kids, check this out. Whole shot award. There's going to be something coming from Stan's No Tube coming out to you. We'll let Mike tell you what it is, but the whole shot award winner is going to get something. And MTB TNA already has a question. Does Mike Bush ever get that? Ever get that he looks like Daniel Tosh? Oh, we'll have to ask. We'll have to ask. And then we have Roberto. Roberto. Oh, this is Beyond X. Okay, let's
Oh, they're
get
talking to each
Mike.
other. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, let's.
Tonight's
Yeah.
product too, a lot of people don't know, like, when you think of Stan's No Tube tire sealant, we kinda take it for granted, but Mark, you're a COVID rider. Did you ride
Yes.
bikes before there was tubeless tires? Like
When I was a kid, but they were like in the BMX bikes that I had.
yeah. So
Yeah.
when we rode with tubes, if you went out on a ride, first goat head you hit, it was pretty much the end of your ride. You were pulling over and putting a tube in there. So this is one of the most important things I think on your bike is tire sealant. It's right up there with the dropper post and all that.
Yeah. Yeah. And how many times have we used stands? I mean, pretty much those little bottles that we have? We put
Oh,
those in the bike, like
that's the only way I fill mine up is with those little bottles. That's like
those
my
things.
secret. That's my
Those
secret way of installing. Yeah, it's the no
Yeah.
mess way.
It's the no mess way. And the way that
Yeah.
it the needle nose on that thing goes right in, it's just perfect.
Yeah, it's a sample
So
bottle, but I hold on to them.
yeah. Yeah. Joey's always
Yeah,
like, don't throw
so
those
we'll get
away.
into it tonight. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, which will be super good. Um, Tumor Warrior saying been tubeless since 2014. EMTB Moto and Adventurous says 26-inch shredder valve mafia, right, Joey?
Yeah,
Talking
yeah.
about that back in the day. Oh man, we got more people jumping on. MTB Mini Bomber, what's up, dude? Good to see you. And shout out to the old Schrader valve. There we go.
Hey, you got a caca in here.
We got a con.
No, you got a caca.
Oh, we got a Kaka MTB Sheen Queen. What's up, Kim? I love that
You
girl.
don't have that
MTB
on the
Sheen.
soundboard yet, do you?
I need to get the
Caca.
Kaka. I need to get the Kaka. Oh man. Well, it is our pleasure on this episode to bring you Mike Bush, president of Stan's No Tubes. Here he comes right now. Hey, Mike.
Hey, good evening, guys.
Good evening, brother. Good to see you, man. I can't believe almost 20 years with the company. You were there. Is that from the beginning almost?
Yeah, so the company officially started in 2000, like the second half of 2000. I showed up on Stan and Cindy's doorstep, more or less, the founders, in May of 2001. I've been hanging out ever since. So.
Whoa. So did you know them, or did you know of the product and you just put it together like this is going to be revolutionary for mountain biking?
Yeah, it's, I guess we'll try to keep the long story short, but I had moved to kind of the southern tier of New York, Corning, New York. It's a tiny little town, but I had moved there when I graduated college, and MTBR was the place of the day to go and learn about bike parts and whatnot. And Stan was on there talking about tubeless very early days, and I knew they were in that area. I just happened to be moving there, so I emailed them and said, "Hey, let's meet up and go for a ride." And it was just the beginning, I guess. And I have an engineering degree and background, so they were starting to work on products, and I said I can help you. And,
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
24 years later.
wow. When you first were learning about what they do, was it the sealant at the time, or was there other things that they were talking about? Where did they start?
Yeah, the very beginning was to convert your wheels to tubeless at the time was to apply two different types of tape to the rim. It was like a nylon strapping tape, and you cover it with electrical tape, basically.
Whoa.
And Stan would sell you this little bottle of natural latex and tell you how to mix it at home. And Cindy was really the impetus there to say we should commercialize this a little bit. People can't find these ingredients, don't know how to do it. We can write the instructions and ship it around the country. And Stan didn't even want a website at the time. So, we had different points of view there, but obviously it got out into the world, and it started with that tape system. Came in like a little mailer white box, and then it developed into the rubber rim strip system that some people out there may remember as the better way to convert your rim to tubeless. Because at this point, there was no tubeless or tubeless ready. We really created the category in a lot of ways and made a lot of what it is today.
That's incredible. Joy, did you know about that tape back in the day? Does anybody know about that tape back in the day?
No, I
Dang.
didn't. No, that was before me.
That is crazy. Beyond Dex to say, Mike, you look too young for 20 years.
Yeah, I get that from time to time, and I do get the Daniel Tosh thing once in a while. Not as
you
much
do?
anymore. It used to come up a little more often.
I love it. I love it. So back then you are getting into it, you're working with Stan and Cindy, and then it was the tape. Did you see like the market really changing and uptaking the tape and going away from tubes, or not quite yet?
Yeah, so early days, it was the tape system was, let's say, a little bit cumbersome, a little bit tricky to install. The rims weren't designed for it, right? They were all tubeless or tube type rims. And at the time, we were converting tube type tires. UST had just come out. There was basically one wheel model from Mavic and two tire options from Hutchinson at the time. And they were heavier. That was expensive, of course, at the outset. So the idea was to convert your existing product and get all the benefits of tubeless, the lower pressure, the puncture protection, comfort, traction control we talk about. So we wanted all those benefits, but didn't want to spend a bunch. So let's convert what we have. That worked for a while, but we started to realize that certain rim designs converted better than others. So that led to the rubber rim strip system. So if you picture like the sidewall of the rim and the tire bead, it actually kind of floats around in space in there. It doesn't necessarily sit at the bead seat. It doesn't sit right under the hook when there were hooks on everything. So that bead float, we have that little bit of gap, and we just started to fill it more with the rubber rim strip. So that kind of played out for a while, and eventually said, well, if we're converting these rims and we know which ones convert better, why don't we start designing our own rims? So the initial rim we did used the rubber rim strip, and then 2004, we had a model called the Olympic that came out. It was the first one to use what we call BST, bead socket technology. And now we were back to using just tape again, but it was a single layer of that thin yellow tape that we still use today.
Wow. So, and this is all
about a 4-year span. We went from tubes and everything to this kind of pretty advanced version of tubeless.
Wow. And it was trying to really just consolidate the amount of different types of wheels that were out there so it would work well with the tape so people can have the better traction, you know, lower tire pressure, all the benefits that we know of now today by being tubeless. And the thought of the actual silicone or latex formulation hadn't yet been a thing. This is still like, I didn't realize we went from tape to rims.
Yeah. So at the outset, again, it was just natural latex. It was you could mix it at home, add some water, actually add some windshield washer fluid was a thing at one point to give it some antifreeze properties. And then, of course, started to learn a little bit more about the chemistry and started developing formulations that made more sense and lasted longer in the tires and sealed punctures better and those types of things. And, you know, that's a continual improvement type process there that never changes. Or you know, the idea that it's improving never goes away.
That's great.
Tire casing changes, you know, conditions change, uses change, that sort of thing. So.
Joey, do we have any maybe on the Instagram? Do we have any images of those wheels? May have to scroll back a ways, but that was Mike. That's the crazy part is like I was out on the trail, and actually even tonight I was talking to my friend Kim, and she was like, "Yeah, I have Stans rims on my bike," and I'm like, "That I never." I honestly always thought of Stans as just the tire sealant.
Yeah, it's what we're best known for it, for sure.
Yeah.
But we've done a lot of wheels through the years, a lot of rims. Like I said, the first ones were around 2002, 2003. That still used the rubber strip system. That 2004 was when we went to the more modern style.
Okay.
Yeah, I would hate to guess how many different profiles we've done through the years now, but it's everything from the lightest of the light cross country, you know, sub 300 gram, 26-inch rims through,
Damn.
You know, actually the jersey behind me is from Charlie Hatton's World Cup, or I'm sorry, World Championship downhill race win last year on our Flow EX3. So
wow. I'm
gonna pop
up the website real quick, and Mike, maybe you can take me for a spin on where can I bring up some images of the rims here.
Yeah, so this is a brand new website, and I'm still getting used to it. But I believe if you go under shop and then go to, I think it's Rims and Wheels at the top.
Shopping. Oh, there you go, Rims and Wheels.
Yeah.
Let's take a peek.
The rim profiles and so on there.
There we go. Can you guys see that? Okay. Now you offer. Wow, there's a ton. Where have I been? Joey, where have I been?
So we basically have 4 series right now. So CB7 is our carbon. That's the top of the line stuff, of course. And then we have our premium alloy, we call it, which is our Mark IV series. So that's the 4th generation of our welded aluminum rims. And then we have the S2, which is the second, technically a third, but it's the 2nd generation of sleeved aluminum rims. It's a different way of joining the rim.
Okay.
And then we have the D series, which is the least expensive pinned style joint aluminum rims.
Got it. And which one of these seemed to be the biggest seller for you guys, or is it just kind of a mismatch all over the place?
Well, it's definitely changed through the years. You know, when we started with rims, we were, and this comes back to Stan originally too. He was what we used to refer to as the ultimate weight weenie. So he obsessed about every gram on his bike, and we really got our start in cross country. So today that would be like our Crest model in aluminum or our Podium model in carbon. But those are still good models for us. We've definitely seen it shift through the years. We're now the Flow. And it comes in a lot of different iterations. There's a Flow EX3, which is kind of the downhill and enduro model. The Flow Mark IV, which is your everyday trail model, to the S2, and then the D series.
Wow.
So,
wow. That is very cool. I'm looking at all those right now. The Flow, the X3. I had no idea. I'm glad, you're on the show.
We're good at designing things. We're good at getting them out into the world and supporting it. We're not always the best about telling our stories. It's always good to come on here and fill in some gaps.
Yeah.
The EX3, just since we were talking about it, last year was probably the best year we've had on an aluminum rim product. We've had some good results through the years, Olympic golds and other world championships. But Charlie Hatton for the Athertons won the downhill world championship. His teammate Andy Cole was second. Brian Pinkerton on GT won a handful of junior downhill races. Has now stepped up to elites. Ethan Craik had some great results. Rachel Atherton won again. We've supported Athertons for years and years.
Wow.
And then Cam Zink won Red Bull Rampage on the same model. So
no kidding.
A hell of a year for that rim.
Hell yeah, that's a hell of a year. Congratulations, you guys, on that. Actually, I have that rim up right now on the website. That's the Flow EX3, right? We're talking about?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah. MTB Sheen Queen says Stans Flow MK4 wheels and E-Sync hubs over here. Wait, hubs too?
Yep, of course we've got to do hubs to do wheels.
Gosh dang it. All right, I'm going into the hubs now.
The E-Sync, yeah.
All right, we're shopping. We're going in there. So I'm gonna find that hubs in, where would that be? In the wheels section?
Probably under the wheels. Yeah, I said this new site, stans.com, goes live. Well, it's technically live, as you can see, but we haven't really pushed it yet.
Look at those.
A couple of bugs.
Small parts, Mark. Small parts.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. Heading over there, small parts. Oh, there we go. E-Sync. That's what's on MTB. Sheen Queen.
So we don't sell the hubs separately at the moment, but there's all the parts to convert them from HG to XDR and microspline, and then I'll do through axles and QRs and everything.
Good Lord, you guys got everything. I feel that's a lot of great parts. I feel like a kid in a candy store. Look at all the cool stuff here. 4 pages plus of cool stuff. Let me go over here. Jeez. How have yes, I'm a COVID writer, but I feel like I've been living under a rock. MTB Q&A out of Miami says, I'm learning here. I seriously didn't know this. Same. We're same. Yeah. This is awesome. Emmanuel Henez is laughing. Thanks, bro.
So in hubs, I'm a prop guy, fidget guy, so I had to bring all the props. But
yeah, let's take a peek.
That's the E-Sync free hub. So it's a 4-pawl mechanism. And I can show you an impulse later. But the E-Sync is kind of our everyday. It's what we use on e-bikes, on trail bikes. It's our least expensive hub model currently. Pretty standard pawl mechanism, but it has a steel axle and so on for more rigidity through the hub itself, for those heavier duty applications and so on. So that she mentioned the Flow Mark 4 with E-Sync. That's an amazing trail combo.
Yeah,
so it gives you fast enough engagement, but it's really durable. Works on a variety of bikes. We can fit it different axle spacings, different through axle dimensions, different brake mount types, 6-bolt center lock. So cover all the bases with that one.
That girl knows what she's doing when she's talking about what she has on her bike. That's for sure. Absolutely. She actually chimed in here. She says, on my Jameis Hardline, did custom logos for the wheels also through Groundkeepers. So that's pretty dope too. Beyond X out of Colorado saying, had no clue. That's awesome. Yeah, we're all learning some good stuff tonight. Now, how would those? I have i9 Hydras on my bike. How do they compare? And the reason why I got those is just because the local bike shop that kind of supported Joey and I had them. I love the sound, but the engagement felt really nice whenever I had to ratchet over stuff.
Yes. Yeah. So the E-Sync does not engage as quickly, but I won't say it's similar to Hydra, because that's not fair to those guys. The i9 crew for a long time. It's a standard pawl type mechanism. So there's a small spring under the pawl. You'd find that in Hydra. They do a lot of things with the way those pawls are timed and so on.
Right.
And essentially the Hydra system is counting on a little bit of flex in the axle. That's how most pawl mechanisms function that way, where you get that little bit of flex and it changes the way they engage into the drive ring of the hub shell. Wow. Our impulse version is something that would be more similar to Hydra, or now the new Solix models and that sort of thing with engagement speed. So it's It's a 6-pawl mechanism. It looks a little bit different.
6-pawl. Okay.
And this does not use springs underneath the pawl itself. It uses magnets on top of the pawl. So the magnet pulls the pawl into the steel drive ring of the hub shell.
Whoa.
So it's a low friction engagement system, but it still engages. It's 216 points of engagement.
260. Okay, wow.
Your Hydra is 690, I believe. So the Hydra would still be a faster engaging system, but we just go about it in a different way. We all have our own ways of trying to achieve similar results.
Yeah, that.
But the impulse system, that free hub and so on, was developed in partnership with Project 321.
Oh, those
So
are gorgeous.
If you're familiar with their hubs at all, that's a very similar mechanism.
Wow, those are beautiful. I'm looking at them right now. Impulse Hub, Shimano Micro Spline, Impulse Hub, SRAM, XDR. Damn. Which one of these? Yeah.
If you go with our CV7, the carbon rims, or with the Mark IV rims, that would have an Impulse Hub in that wheel build. If you go with the S2 or the EX3, then we go to the E-Sync model. And we can do all kinds of custom variants around those too, but those are the basics.
Damn. Joey, do we have any room on the segment credit card? We have Emmanuel Jimenez saying, love that color. I know, right? It's really dope. It's super nice. Super nice. Okay, so you're basically started with making the rims to where you can go tubeless, and then you're creating your own rims. And then at some point, you Cindy's idea of making the formulation so it's all together, so people don't have to kind of go get extra formula and put it together, became a thing. And then Stans became known for that. At least in my knowledge, it became known for that. What year did that happen?
Let's see. We started doing the very basic tubeless kit would have been around that 2000, 2001 time frame. It advanced to the rubber rim strip kit around 2003, 2004, and we sold those for a decade, all kinds of different rim sizes and fitments and so on. We eventually discontinued that system and had gone entirely to the tape, the single thin layer of yellow tape in our rim designs. And at that time, other tire designs had changed. More tubeless ready tires had come onto the scene, which made more sense, of course, for everybody. And then other rim designs started to, I won't say copy, that's not the right word, but sort of follow the formula of creating the right shape. And one of our guys internally always refers to it as shape, tape, and sealant. Those are the three things to make tubeless work. So you get the shape right, you get the tape applied, which seals everything airtight on the rim side, and then of course you got sealant.
So that
those started to come along. Yeah.
That must have been a great part in the whole market, seeing that they're kind of following so that the wheels were a little bit more similar so that the tape had better application across the board, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, absolutely. And for us, the sealant, we blend and bottle every drop of Stans sealant ever has come out of the Corning Big Flats area of New York. We make that all in-house on a daily basis.
Oh, wow.
And the more wheels that are compatible with it, the more tires that are compatible, the better ride experience everybody has. And of course, we hope to sell them a little bit of sealant along the way.
Yeah.
But, our mission statement for the company is this long, and it's simply improve the ride. So that's what we're trying to do. To the goat head comment early on, I can't tell you how many people would say, we couldn't do group rides in the past with goat heads, or cactus spines or whatever.
Yeah.
By the third one, you wanted to leave your buddies behind and just take off. And here on the East Coast, you're being eaten alive by bugs while somebody's fixing a flat tire, and it just completely changed the way we ride, for sure. I put it up there with dropper posts and disc brakes and that kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely so. I mean, it's funny because my kiddo started BMX biking, right? And I asked the BMX scene, I was like, I felt like such a kook. I'm like, can we do these BMX tires tubeless? And they're like, oh, what? I'm like, oh, you guys are missing out. You have no clue. Because it's, I mean, maybe I don't know, but he's always getting thorns in the tire. And the mountain bike scene is just so confidence inspiring to be able to go off trail, get squirrely, get things in your tire and be like, I'm fine, I'm good.
Right.
You know, there's been so many times where we're getting, like Joey and I will be getting ready to do something, bike park, wherever, and we're like, all right, is everything good to go? Like making sure that the sealant is in the bike tire is as important as checking our bolts. Like, when was the last time I did that? Do we have enough? Do we have anything just in case? Because you get a flat out there, it doesn't matter how expensive your bike is, you're walking.
Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't matter what kind of vehicle you're dealing with. If it has a pneumatic tire, nobody wants a flat tire. That's just kind of the general rule. And I think you guys said the 2-ounce bottle, or now it's
Yes.
60 milliliter bottle officially. I always have one on me in my pack on the bike, whatever the case may be. Never too far away.
I love those things. Those things are so good. And in fact, refill them with the big Stance bottles so that we could take those out on the trails or have them in the car down below the trailhead. Beyond Dex is asking, did Stans influence tubeless tire design also? I kind of would say yeah to that. What's your answer?
Yeah. I guess we can take some credit in some areas, and if some tire companies were listening, probably blame us for a few things too. But we didn't have a lot of friends early on. But the first tires, we actually produced tires at one point too, or designed tires. They were produced by Kenda. So while we were developing the tubeless system and saying this rim works better than that rim, we also started to realize that certain tires worked better than others. And then it was like investigating why did they work better? Was it easier to mount? Was it easier to inflate? Did we have any issues with blow-offs? How was the tire constructed? What did the chafer strip, which is like this little abrasion strip around the edge of the tire, look like? On tube type tires, they were very present, I'll say, and they would be textured. And then we looked at the molding of the tire sidewall and said, we see leaks occurring around the lettering that's molded into the tire, into the casing.
Yeah.
Or you didn't see leaks where the hot patches are applied, so the logos and names and so on. So we just kind of went down that path to some ridiculous extent and decided at some point that we wanted to see tire companies advance their tires to work better for tubeless. What we were thinking of is now tubeless ready, what we call tubeless ready today. And basically they all told us to go away. We just invested this money in UST. That's what we're going to go with. That's what's going to take over the world. And got a lot of money invested in molds and so on. And Kendo was the only one that said, actually, we'll make them for you. We're not going to put our name on them, but if you want to put your own name on it, go ahead. So we did 2 tires. One was called the Crow, and then later there was one called the Raven. And they were, you look back at them now, you'd be like, that's an awesome gravel tire. It was,
right.
We did them in 26 by 2, 26 by 2.2, 29 by 2.0, and 29 by 2.2, and then later 700 by 35. So it was just, it was a way to prove that these changes would make tubeless ready a much better thing, and you didn't need the full tubeless casing. So at the time, a tubeless casing was essentially a standard tire with a better bead, and then they applied a full layer, like from bead to bead, of butyl rubber to retain air pressure. But it added a lot of weight. It added some undesirable ride characteristics, just wasn't as compliant and that sort of thing. So,
could you imagine seating that tire by hand too? That big old
it could be done. We kind of brought some tubeless ready thinking to the table. And I think Bontrager was really the first one after that, then to do some tubeless ready tires and more tubeless ready rims rather than full tubeless. But obviously now it's everywhere. So I'll take a little bit of credit, or we, as a company, we can take a little bit of credit for at least bringing some ideas to the table. We got out of the tire game pretty quickly once the big guys started to adopt those ideas. It just didn't make sense for us. But
to be in there and to compete with that. Was there ever a time where it was kind of like not knowing the future, not knowing we'd be here where we are today and Stan's where it is, but was there ever a time where you second guessed what you were doing, like when it came to these, or did you just know from the start, like this has got to be the future?
Yeah, I think we had, at least Stan and I, and then others, of course, internally, knew that this was just a better way to do it. Maybe someday sealant isn't in tires anymore. We figured out these perfect self-healing tires and that sort of thing. but
Wolverine
yeah,
style.
we've come a long way, and bicycles were some of the last performance type vehicles to still have tubes in the tires, and it's just it was a pretty antiquated approach. And in those early days, we started going to Interbike and things like that, or what was the Pedro's Fest here on the East Coast, and those types of events. And the people out riding the bikes, the end user, the consumer, was all for it. The shops in the middle weren't really enthused by it because they did a lot of repairs of flats and sold a lot of tubes, and it was new and it was different, and what's this mean for us? And then we kind of tried to explain that you can still service the customer by installing the new tires and setting them up with sealant and having them come back in 3 months and check the levels and top off, and obviously it became a thing across the board.
Yeah, I could imagine that time period must have been strange. Like bike shops maybe were uncomfortable with the change because perhaps you were taking away business from them. Tube companies were probably like, where do these guys live? And we're not selling as many tubes because of these stands, no tube people. Yeah. Did you really feel that in the days? Was there kind of a strange adoption to the whole shift?
There was definitely pushback in certain corners. I mean, from a performance standpoint, I know very, very few stories through the years, and I'm sure there's more we just don't hear, of people trying tubeless and then going back to tubes. It's pretty rare that somebody has that experience.
Look at Joey.
Why would you do that?
That again.
Huh? That doesn't make any sense.
Once you try it, you get used to it, and you learn a couple of little tricks on setup or maintenance. It's really not a big deal. It's still today, though, if you ride your bike once every 6 weeks or something, it just hangs in the garage, it's still not the product for you. If you're riding once, twice, 3 times a week, certainly. I can't imagine any other way.
Yeah, right. Same. I didn't realize if you're not riding it for that long, then is it the sealant just gonna get dry up in there?
It can dry out over time, and if it was every 6 or 8 weeks, you're going to go back. Your tire pressure is going to be low. You say, "Why did I do this in the first place?" It's not unlike tubes. Tubes lose air just sitting there too. But if you're riding that infrequently, it's probably going to start to feel like a hassle rather than a benefit. So it's like I said, it's not the right thing for every bicycle out there, but certainly for the enthusiast. Again, can't imagine it any other way.
No other way.
Right, going backwards to that. We got a question here from Trail Monster. Mike, he's asking, how did you guys come up with the Stans dart chemistry? How it seals and binds with the Stans sealant? Ooh, yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah, so that one's kind of funny a little bit. I was playing with, obviously there's chemistry involved. I am not a chemist. I will not pretend to be a chemist. I did not stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night. And I was playing with something I thought would work for, basically, if you got a big puncture on the trail and it wasn't sealing, you could apply a gel or a liquid or something of that nature to the puncture site, and it would seal faster. So I was playing with that and then thinking, how could we get this into a tire plug? And coincidentally, we were actually at an Interbike, one of the last ones in Vegas, I think, and I got an email from a chemist and a cyclist in Australia saying, I've got this idea where we apply this chemical to a tire plug and it seals faster. And I said, well, that's really coincidental because I'm playing with the same thing and I am not a chemist and you have a PhD. So we just started talking about it and I liked where he was going with it. So we licensed that technology from him now. And it's been, let's see, I think we released those in the fall of 2019. And there are tens of thousands of dart tools out in the world now. And we make darts every day. The little darts with the feather and the tip and so on, that's all assembled and bonded together in New York and in our facility there. So yeah, it was a funny little story, but it worked out. So the way they kind of work, if you're not familiar, there's a little tip that helps pass the dart feather, as we call it, through the puncture site. So you get this big puncture on the trail. It's too big. Your sealant won't seal for whatever reason. You can just Yeah, that's a great picture of it. You pass the tip through the tire casing. The feathers kind of fold up and conform really well around the puncture, regardless of its shape or size. And then when
Oh,
you
wow.
pull the tool back, it stays in the tire, and you're just left with the little bits of the feather sticking up through. And it's a microfiber, so it wears off pretty quickly with a few miles of use. But it's a permanent repair, essentially. When the sealant
Wow.
makes contact with that impregnated fabric, it forms just an instant clot. The
Really?
fresher the sealant, the better. So we always like to keep our sealant topped off. But yeah,
Yeah.
that reaction is instantaneous. And if you ever want to just play with it, so it's like put a little bit of sealant in a small cup and drop a feather or a dart in there and just stir it around real quick and watch how fast it coats with
It just
a
soaks
pretty
it up,
solid
huh?
form of the latex.
That's
Yeah.
incredible. I know that at Sedona Mountain Bike Festival, my friend Jess the maker, she was doing demos of it at the Stands tent, and people, I mean, this was just this last, was it this last year?
It was the year
People were
before
like,
the snow donut.
snow donut. And out of all the things at the Sedona Bike Fest that people could be talking about, everyone's like, dude, did you see that dart thing? Like, what's in that thing? It really made a splash there. It was like, oh man, I got to get over there and check that out. That is now, was this something? It was like a collab between the chemist who was thinking about it, but the dart idea, did it come from internal, or was it? How'd you guys
Yeah,
think
so
of that?
he gave us the best way to approach the chemistry, and he filed and is moving through the patent process in quite a few countries at the moment. So that's moving along for him. But there's a lot of room there for us to expand on chemistry itself and other things we can do with it. But the tool and everything was developed in house by one of our engineers, Derek. Kind of worked through it, and DART stands for dual action repair for tubeless. So it's not only a mechanical way of
Dart?
sealing the puncture with the material and everything, but it's the chemical way too.
Wow.
So that's where the DART name came from. And yeah, pretty handy little things to have around.
Yeah.
Keep one of those in your pack or your pocket as well.
Oh yeah, that would go right in the hip pack, nice and easy. We actually have people out here saying, we got MTB Sheen Queen. She's saying, got a couple darts over here too. Loves the Stans products. Yep. We also have oh, here you go. This is gonna make you smile, Mike. Octodad in New Zealand is joining us. He goes, tubes are good for tow ropes for e-bikes.
Yeah, that works.
So there you go. The tube people shout out for tow ropes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Marty, out of New Zealand, which is great. And Octodad is also saying 266 cow says hi. He's out there on a farm. There's actually cow number 266 he was actually on Johnny U's show. Says hi. Beyond Deck saying beats carrying a tube around. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I still carry a tube in my pack, but I just have them there to lend to other people. Like, knock on wood, haven't had to install it on the trail in a really, really long time.
When it comes to repairing the tire, just to maybe get you down the mountain if you have to, how close to the bead would you guys recommend us use a dart? Can we get it right up on there? Or?
You can put it right against the bead. Yeah, we do them in demos all the time.
Wow.
You know, when we were testing darts and so on, obviously we were wanting to find worst case scenarios. We went through all that, and there were some of us here that rode tires around, you know, for a full summer with 7, 8, 10 darts installed in the tires.
Wow.
No way.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, and if you have a really big puncture, you can put 2 and 3 right beside each other. All in the same puncture hole.
So it's not just a fix to get you back to the car. You can actually continue. Nice.
Permanent. Yeah. That's cool. We actually had I ran into a rider who had a pinch flat that was, what was it, Joey? Remember we ran into that guy on the trail at Greer? His pinch flat crease was like maybe 3 inches across.
Yeah, it was huge.
Yeah.
So there's probably a limit at some point.
Yeah. I think that guy passed the limit.
Darts too.
But it's worth a shot because everything else was like, we're stuffing dirt in there and everything, trying to help this dude get back. I think we used all of our CO2s. We're like, well, we're all out of ideas. See you later. But we did not have a dart at the time, so
No.
that would have been something we could have applied, and who knows, because it was on the sidewall, and if you did move the tire a certain way, it would stop for a second or two, and that would may have just been enough to like stick a couple in there.
Yeah, that could
Never
work.
know. That would have been the better option of all the options that we had. Tremon's saying, I usually only need a tube if I bend my rim a bit. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, if you severely dent a rim, you can compromise where the tubeless seal forms, where the bead makes contact with the bead seat of the rim.
Yeah.
So yeah, it certainly could be an issue.
When we talk about stands and we talk about you guys are tubeless like through and through, when you talk about the crew being tubeless through and through, what does that mean for you guys?
I mean, speaking for myself, I've done nothing but tubeless for 20 years now. Before that, I was in subway car manufacturing and then aircraft manufacturing. So bikes were cooler and I made the switch. But yeah, I mean, I've done nothing but tubeless for 20 years. I'm just thinking around some of the other staff here that are 10 plus years. And it's all we've done is tubeless in that time period. Wow. Early days at Stans, we had a couple other products, but we don't really do those types of things anymore. Some pedal upgrade kits and aluminum disc brake rotors and things like that. So wow. We kind of let that stuff go by the wayside and have done really nothing but tubeless since. So yeah, just I never actually totaled up the years across the staff, but it's probably 100 plus at this point of, if not more, of design, engineering, sales and support of tubeless products.
Wow, that's very cool. I'm just curious what the number would be if there was ever any time a tire was punctured and you would have had a flat if you didn't have stands in there. I wonder how many people's butts you guys have saved to get them back down to the car or back out.
It's kind of an internal metric. I mentioned that improve the ride statement, and I do the math on this on like a quarterly basis now, but it's, how many ounces did we produce and sell in the quarter? If you use 3 ounces per tire and you refresh 3 times a year, the average American bike cyclist rides 48 times a year. You do that math, and in the end of a quarter or the year, it's millions of rides. So did we save everyone? Absolutely not. Somebody still had to put the tube in or do the dart thing or whatever. But just trying to capture how many rides did we actually improve, how many group rides got better without goat head issues and cactus spines and thorns here on the east, that sort of thing.
Yeah. And that's just one ride, Mike. Like in one ride, I could puncture the tire 2 or 3 times, and then look down and be like, oh, look at the little white things on my tire. When did I do that? Let's go get some more laps in, instead of like, oh, dude, I got to walk to the car. So who knows what that number's got to be huge. Got to be huge.
Yeah, I mean, we try to track some sustainability things too. We're trying to do the right thing on some products, and the New York facility runs on solar power and that sort of thing. Trying to calculate how many tires and tubes we kept out of landfills.
Right.
I would love to know what that number is.
Yeah, that's a great point. That's a really good point. I love that point, actually. We got NTBTNA is saying, we just going to gloss over the subway and aircraft manufacturing? Yeah, right. she wants more. Tell her more. And maybe that'll get back to you riding bikes and the passion for bikes during this time when you were an engineer doing this.
Yeah, so I went to Penn State for my engineering degree, and the riding, actually, I'm sitting in an office here in the State College area again now. So when I graduated and moved to New York, it was originally to work for Corning Incorporated, which is the major employer in the area, Fortune 500. Your Gorilla Glass in your phone, all that kind of thing. That's Corning product. I was dealing with fiber optics at the time, but economy went bust in 2001. Corning was powering a lot of the fiber networks that we all needed for tech. And I took a job with a company called TTA, which is a subway car manufacturer. So I worked on projects for Boston and Chicago and Washington Metro and things like that. Did that for a couple of years, but in the background, I had met Stan and Cindy. We were riding together, anytime we could, and I would help them on nights and weekends designing products, take vacation from my real job to go work Interbike, that sort of thing.
Wow.
And yeah, so just riding was always the core thing. Something I loved to do here when I was in school, and then ultimately moved back here for the trails themselves. That was a big part of having the office here in Pennsylvania. And when I left the subway car company, then I took a job with the Schweitzer Aircraft at the time. They were acquired by Sikorsky. I was working on main rotor blades for an unmanned helicopter. It's called the Fire Scout.
Wow.
And
Drone?
did that for, well, it was before we actually, everybody called them drones and knew what drones were. But
Okay, just
yeah,
non-piloted.
Yeah, there's a pretty cool documentary out there about it too, the Fire Scout. So we were a subcontractor for Northrop Grumman on that one, but it was a cool project. But Stan and Cindy said, "Hey, we could really use you full time over here." And the funny thing was, their building was not even a half mile away from where I was working every day on helicopters.
Oh, wow.
So I went to at the time it was, I think it was two brothers and a cousin that owned the place, and I said, I have an opportunity to go do this. What do you think? And the one guy used to ride his bike to work every day, and he said, "Do it. If it doesn't work, come back."
Right.
So I made the jump, and yeah, that was it.
So you jumped to passion, and was the financial security still there, or was that?
I was young and
just a
dumb.
big
That
leap?
wasn't really the issue. Yeah,
You're following your passion and love, huh?
yeah, I took a chance. I had that safety net of one of the owners saying, "We'll just come back if it doesn't work." So
Yeah, that's huge.
good.
God, going back to that, did you realize how much of a critical point that was, jumping, or no?
I didn't really think about it that much at the time, but I got to be around bikes more and go to more events and do more things and talk bikes every day, all day, which was, that was pretty fantastic at the time.
Yeah.
I like to, try and get a little break from it here and there, but yeah, it's definitely, it's been quite a ride.
That's amazing. With your riding, were you more of an XC rider, or are you park rider, enduro? Where
No, probably more to the XC end for a lot of it, but I used to, back to the young and dumb statement, I was hucking stairs and all kinds of other stuff too in between.
Hell
So,
yeah. Hell yeah. This is
but
the
when we
president.
wanted to do a product, yeah, we wanted to do a product for downhill or something. Big Flats, New York is kind of like what it sounds. It's pretty flat, except the ridge lines around the area. So go to like the local college campus and huck stair sets, that sort of thing.
Sick.
Just
Urban
to
assaults.
test some products, yeah.
Damn, that's cool, Mike. So you moved over, you're working this job, the new job, more following your passion, way more interesting around bikes. You're watching this thing grow. You're making a difference in the mountain bike community. Did you ever dream that it was going to have this much of impact 20 years later?
No, I mean, you don't know where it's going to go. I mean, things come and go all the time, and mountain biking can be, and cycling in general, but mountain biking can be pretty trendy at times.
Right.
I joke all the time that mountain bikers take things to extremes and then have to realize and come to their senses and back off a little bit.
Yeah.
I think the V10 actually had like 10 inches of travel at one point or something ridiculous. And the bars got to like 850 wide, and then we're like, we don't fit through trees anymore. We got to back off a little bit.
It's like chopper style.
When everybody went 3.0 plus tires, I'm like, well, that's kind of ridiculous. I think what'll happen is we'll all just move up a size, which is pretty much what happened.
What
We
happened?
went from riding 2.2s and 2.3s to 2.4s and 2.5s, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of just a mountain biking thing to take it too far and have to come to our senses. So
Right.
same thing could have in some way played out around tubeless and tire technologies and so on. Like, oh, wait a second, this is kind of silly. Why did we do that? Let's bring it back in a little bit. But I think we ultimately knew that was the better way to do it.
Yeah, and it sounds like you guys definitely did that when it came to the tires. You were out there and you pulled back when the big guys started doing that and getting back to kind of the roots. Do you still do the tape today, or has the sealant kind of taken over the whole tape?
No, I mean, we still do yellow tape in the rims. Most rims are still drilled through. All of our rims are drilled all the way through. So that just facilitates building. There have been a number of wheel designs through the years, and they're still out there on the market, that are a solid spoke bed on the inside. You don't need a tape or anything else to cover them. which sounds great until you have to build or maintain the wheel.
Mm.
And then you've got to go through all kinds of extra steps to do that, or they can't be assembled on wheel building equipment, so you can't do mass production in a cost-effective way in most cases. It just adds a level of complexity and proprietary parts to the mix. So all of our wheels that we've ever done have been J-bend spokes, traditional style nipples, seal the spoke bed with tape. It's just easier, it's light, it's something you can maintain at home. You can rebuild a wheel. If you're traveling, you're in Whistler, you're in Moab, you're some trip around the world, you can get a J-bend spoke. It might
Take
not
me
be
there.
the same gauge, it might not be the same color, but you can get a J-bend spoke and you can fix it without tearing your wheel apart
That makes
or
sense.
carrying proprietary parts around with you.
Right. That'd be the worst. Say you're like somewhere and you're having a great time. I saw this crazy video by Anthony Napolitan. He's in Brazil. Imagine messing up your spoke and it's like you're a proprietary part and you can't get it fixed. It came all this way. Oh no.
Yeah, that's the problem. And Anthony's brother lives here in town too. He and Jamie Bestwick own the coffee shop in town. So.
That's cool. That's really cool. What a small world. Small world. We got MTBTNA is saying, oh, check this out. Fire Scout, unmanned helicopter looks like an avian mole rat, she's saying. She looked at it. Yeah. She said, though, to top that off, very cool, though. Very cool. Oh, man. I know we're already at 51 minutes, and I know you're East Coast time, and I appreciate you being on the show. We should probably, let's get to some of the new stuff, and then let's do a giveaway.
Yeah, sure. I had some espresso before we started, so I'm good for them.
Oh, you did. You
Nice.
did do the shot. Awesome. I thought you were just joking when you were emailing me. What are you drinking?
Well, it's a local roaster, so whatever we've got out there.
Yeah.
But it's good.
Coffee's good. I just learned about a new coffee called Power, which is it's got protein and everything in it. So I get some of that stuff. That sounds pretty good. Going to the website, taking a peek at that. What are some of the newer things that maybe people aren't as aware of that we can show them?
Well, the two new ones we just released at Sea Otter were the new injector system,
Okay.
which is a pretty big upgrade over the previous version.
Tubeless. I'll go tubeless kits.
No, it should be.
Tapes and valves.
This new site's going to kill me for a little bit.
Oh.
Yeah, it should be. It's probably in accessories.
Accessories under tools, I believe, Mark.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Thank you, Joey. Yeah, here we go.
Yeah, so I have one here too, but.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Oh, here.
Yeah.
Let me pop you up full screen there. Okay.
That's the new injector system. So it's I'll give you the spiel real quick. It's going to make some noise. So a couple of things about this. The old one was 2 ounces or 60 milliliters, which is pretty small for most tire sizes these days. And we have new recommendations on the box and so on for filling your tires. This one goes to 150 milliliters. And then it has a patent pending feature here at the top, which you probably can't see too well. It's this little air bypass channel.
Okay.
And then inside of the fitting down here at the bottom, there's a split seal. So you can now take this to your workbench or wherever you're filling your sealant. You'd have to kink the hose and you do all kinds of things that way to install the sealant. Now you can just pour the sealant in, and with that split seal, it won't pass through.
Oh.
And then when you normally, like if you're bleeding brakes or you're dealing with a syringe of some sort, when you start to put the plunger in, it's pressurizing the chamber on the inside.
Okay. Yeah.
So with this little bypass channel at the top, you can insert this. There's a line marked on there, and you'll see it and feel it. The air will escape, and now it's secure without pressurizing the chamber. Which is why we decided to pursue a patent on it. This now, instead of the old one threaded on, this one just presses onto a Schrader press the valve.
Oh, nice.
And then you just inject your sealant, and you're good to go.
Oh, that's nice.
With a full 150 milliliters or 5 ounces, you can do both tires in most cases with one fill. There's no mess. It doesn't drip anything out of the end. You've got a little plug when you're done. You can put that in there and it seals everything, so you don't have to rinse it out right away or anything like that.
Wow.
And you can hang it up by the plug as well. So
wow. And that just was released at Sea Otter.
Yep, just at Sea Otter. In fact, the first production quantities, we had some at Sea Otter for folks, and then they just arrived in the last week, so we started shipping them just the other day.
There it is right there. on the website. $15. That's not bad at all.
Yeah, so we wanted it to be reasonably priced. We wanted to address the leaking and dripping issues. We wanted a larger volume. So I think we checked all the boxes. And if you're doing sealing at home, you can't beat it. Or even in shops, a lot of mechanics never dealt with injectors in the past. They would just open the tire and pour it in. But we think that's a nice, clean way to do it at the shop level now too. So.
Yeah, that's really nice. Yep. I swear, every time I've cracked open the tire and tried to pour it in the side, I for some reason either can't see the bead won't go back, or I realize the tire is on backwards.
Road and gravel tires, there often isn't enough space to pour the sealant inside, so without spilling it when you try to remount the tire and so on. So the injector is really the best way to go. I mean, I was a 2-ounce guy. No, it's 60 milliliters, but that's what I did. I would refill it just like you guys would and put that through the valve stem. But even I've switched now to the injector, and I did that forever with the small bottles.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit cleaner, a little bit easier.
Yeah, that's really nice. Octodad's saying I removed the valve core, and
Yes.
Yep. It's I do the same. I got the little the cap on my back tire, allows me to remove the valve core, but with that system, you don't have to remove the valve core, correct?
Well, you still want to remove the valve core.
you
So
gotta
the
remove it.
cores themselves can
Gunk
plug
up.
up. But there's beside the liquid, there's also particulate in our sealant and a lot of others on the market. And most of those particulates will not pass through the valve core. So you'll think it's in the tire, but it actually didn't make it into the tire.
Got it.
So,
Okay.
you want to have that particulate for the larger punctures and so on.
Got it. Maybe that's why I didn't charge him.
Yeah.
We won't tell anybody.
Yeah, this is just between all of us here. Marty, good move on that. Mario V is up in here. He says, "Nice upgrade. My old one is in its last leg. Getting me one of these." Yes, yeah, $15 on the website right there. Yeah, you can get it. And then you were gonna say, there was another product that you came up with?
Yeah, we released our new valve stems, the ExoCore valves at Sea Otter as well, which they've got a lot of features and stuff going on. So
and I did just see them, but I don't remember where I saw them.
They're on the main page.
On the main page?
Yeah, if you go home, I think they pop up.
Yeah,
there they go. ExoCore valve. Look at those. Okay. Now we're looking at them now. And for somebody like me who, I mean, I don't really know the difference between any of these. So go like super third grade for me on this. So I understand why it's different.
So your bike now probably has Presta valves, and most people on here probably are Presta valve. That valve was invented in like 1890.
What?
It was never, yeah, a French guy.
Wow. I got outdated technology.
So it's been around forever, but as you can imagine, it was never intended to have sealant anywhere near it.
Right.
So smaller diameter when rims were more narrow made a lot of sense. It's light, etc. It has a lot of nice features. It's easy to use. Everybody's familiar with just open the nut on the top a little bit, and you can inflate them all kinds of different ways. Pretty simple to use in the grand scheme of things. Schrader is the other one that's out there. So some people call those car valves or auto valves or whatnot, but Schrader is the other common one. We don't see them here much, but in Europe you'll find Dunlop valves, and throughout China you'll find Dunlop valves. So the common one being Presta in kind of performance-oriented cycling. It's a good thing, but it does clog over time. You can get sealant up inside. It was never meant to be there. It's a small passageway. We really wanted to rethink that. So there have been a number of new valves released lately, and you go back to the Fillmore several years ago from Santa Cruz under the Reserve brand. They did a really nice job with airflow. One of the issues of Presta valves can be airflow when the core is installed. You remove the valve core, you can get all kinds of great airflow for seating your tires and so on. So we wanted to address valves primarily from the clogging standpoint, since we're sealant people, and then also consider flow. So ExoCore is where we've come to. Basically, the Presta core you knew in the past had all those restrictions and so on. And I have an oversized 3D printed version of one. It's probably gonna be hard to see on camera.
Mike, let's look at that one. Let's get you the full screen on that one.
That one. That's a real valve. But this is what we use to demonstrate the features at Sea Otter. So it has an exterior housing, that's the XO.
Okay.
And then if I turn that around, you see the inside just has this pin. So in the real valve, that's a brass pin, what we
Okay.
would call the core now. And then there are multiple O-rings in here for the sealing surface. So you start at the bottom. Our previous valves were not insert compatible. So if you're running push core or those type of things, the previous one only had the single outlet on the back. And when the insert sits on top, then it blocks the air.
Just plugs it
Or
up.
blocks
Yeah.
sealant going through the valve. So we
Okay.
have sealant compatibility. We traditionally had a conical washer at the bottom
Okay.
or seal,
Yeah.
which worked great in some rim shapes, didn't work as well in other rim shapes. And when you have a convex surface like a rim, and you drill the hole through it, it actually becomes a bit of an oval. Most people wouldn't see it, but it does. So we've ovalized this, and it's tapered. So again, fits a wider variety of rim shapes. You still have room to mount your tire beads on either side. The valve nut at the bottom to secure the valve into the rim. We have a captured O-ring, so it gives you like a lock nut functionality and holds everything nice and snug. And anytime you're installing a valve, what you want to do is press on the back with your thumb and tighten the nut down just snug with your hand. So it compresses the seal. Yeah, you don't have to go crazy tightening it, but if you apply that bit of pressure, you just snug that down by hand. When you remove the pressure from your hand, it'll expand the seal a little bit, and it's going to create a tight fit there, and it won't rattle and come loose now with that O-ring inside.
That makes sense.
And then we have the housing at the top. So the way this works, there's an interrupted thread right here.
I see.
If you open this up just about a half turn or so, this pin now has movement on it. So if this had air in it, you would have back pressure on that pin. You can tap it and just release a little bit of air.
Okay.
If you open it about 2 or 2.5 turns, now you're going to get maximum airflow all the way through here.
Oh.
I'll come back to that in a second.
Okay.
So you see these windows at the top.
Yeah.
Allow the air to pass through much better. And then down through the inside, you don't have the restrictions of a Presta-Core. Like if you ever take a Presta-Core out and look at how small some of those parts are and its passages are,
right.
It's amazing that they work at all. So then you can take this housing all the way off, like so.
Like, whoa.
And then this passes through. I'm trying to get that on camera somehow, but it's a 4 millimeter passage all the way through. So you've got a ton of room for sealant to pass through there. You've got a lot of room for air if you did need to inflate with the housing removed.
Yeah.
This pin now comes out of the housing, and if you did get sealant on here, which isn't very likely now, but if you did, you can just wipe it off by hand and put it back in. You don't have to replace valve cores.
Nice.
And in the event you were out somewhere and you damaged that housing and you said, oh, well, now I'm stuck, that's a proprietary part. We still have threads on the inside that fit a standard Presta-Core. So you can put a Presta-Core in there and carry on with your day. But when this is all back together, it collapses here at the top, sealed against that conical shape, and you're good to go.
Holy cow.
So you get, I forgot the cap too. So now we just have tap caps, we call them, that just, you don't have to thread and unthread. So in a race situation, you want to have this cap on just so you're not getting dirt in the windows. But you just push it on, and it has a little O-ring on the inside. So again, that's the real one there, much smaller. You can see it has the brass pin. You just open it a little bit, tap it for your air pressure adjustment, open it about 2 turns for maximum airflow.
Wow. And twist it all the way.
We did a lot of airflow testing and so on too. Like I said, it wasn't our primary. And to all their credit, Fillmore and Reserve guys did a great job with airflow. We think there's some things we wanted to address with sealant, since that's our primary focus. And that's what we came to.
Good Lord. I had no idea. Well, first of all, I had no idea I was running my technology over 100 years old. Crap. And that makes total sense to me. That is cool. And the cap, when it clicks on there, is it magnetic or something? Or is it just the shape of it that clicks?
Yeah, you might see it on this one. So these early ones had red. It's really hard to see. There's an O-ring inside, and it just presses on. So to take it off, you just give it a little twist and pull, put it on. That's tap, actually. Tap cap is twist and pull.
That's cool. So, that is cool. We got people saying on here, got my next shopping list. Mario V, nice upgrade. Yeah, he said that we got Trail Pim saying Cam Zink just won Rampage on Stands Wheels custom build in Reno. Yes. Yeah, we were
Yeah.
that's amazing. Talking about that earlier. Beyond X is saying, wow, I feel like I just learned how a rocket is designed. Yeah. It's really cool that the airflow, it's interesting because a friend of mine just gave me a Fillmore and I had no idea
Mhm.
what it was. And I don't think on the Fillmore, I don't think that I can now put stands through it because I don't think that core comes out.
You
Now, like,
cannot disassemble and service a Fillmore like you can an ExoCore. And I'm sure
yes,
there's others out there too, but we wanted that really good airflow. So we're neck and neck with them from our testing.
yeah,
I'll give them a slight edge, but we're neck and neck with them on airflow. But we give you all the serviceability and everything else that comes with ExoCore. And one of the issues you'll find with some of the high flow valves out there is they don't work with most pumps and inflators, and whether it's CO2 inflators and gauges and that sort of thing. And we went to pretty great lengths to ensure compatibility with as many different versions as we could find.
totally.
The way certain pumps attach, Lezyme pumps, for example, attach in a very different way than a toe peak pump, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah,
wanted to maintain as much compatibility as possible.
you guys really thought that through. That's really cool. That's really, really cool. I love that. I could see myself trying to like seat a tire and just like pulling the whole thing off and having four mil of extra space and just put a compressor hose on there and like really get that tire seated and then
I can tell you
stands
now,
in.
if you open this ExoCore the 2.5 turns, and you use an air compressor, you'll be absolutely shocked how quickly your tire inflates.
Wow.
Kind of
Yeah.
caught you by
It
surprise, to be honest.
really opens it up. Damn. You guys are changing the game again.
We'll try.
Again. So sick. I'm excited about this. I need to get some of those for the old bicycle. I know it's late where you are. I know a lot of people are still on the line with us, and hopefully you guys all have learned some things about stands and some of the new products. Mike, was there anything else that you wanted to share?
No, I mean, those are some of the new items we're working on. Rims and wheels are always fun to talk about more, but we covered a lot of those bases. Sealant's the bread and butter for us. Like I said, it's about improving the ride, and we'll keep working on some things in that category. We'll keep working on some things around Dart. A couple other cool things coming at Eurobike this year that we'll be putting out there.
Ooh, can you spill some beans on that? No, don't do it. I'm just everyone stay tuned for some more cool stuff coming from Stans on that. Mike, when it comes to the giveaways, what items would you like to give away tonight to the folks out there?
Well, we can do a full tubeless kit or tubeless package if you like. We've got so the new sealant. It's not the sealant inside is the same, but everything is now metric labeled. We went to a 30% post-consumer resin bottles and those sorts of things. So that was an update earlier this year. So I think we'd do a sealant injector Dart bundle if you want to give a couple of those away.
Sure, yeah, let's do it. For the first one, who was the whole shot winner? Let's go back to that, Joey, and pull up the whole shot winner. And for the folks that are listening on iTunes and Spotify, when we do have these giveaways, you definitely have to be on, and these are being played live on our YouTube channel or on Facebook in order to get these. But if you're on iTunes and Spotify, definitely check out Stans and some of these new cool products. I mean, just the whole valve thing that you took us through was pretty insane. I love it. Joey, do you have the whole shot winner up? We can do the let's do the Dart kit for the whole shot winner. What do you think?
Sounds great.
Does that sound good?
Yeah.
All right. Let's go for a drum. Wait, do I have a drum roll? Do I have a drum roll? Let me double check. Do I have a drum roll? I may need to get a whole drum roll here.
You need a caca and a drum roll.
I need a caca for sure. I need a caca. I got an applause. Okay, I'm ready for the applause.
You can do the Jess drum roll.
Oh no, no, just the maker's drum rolls is enough for this show
That's
right
not
now.
appropriate.
Yeah, she was making some funny noises on that episode in Sedona. But we do have this. The whole shot award tonight for the Dart is going to go to, who's it going to be, Joey?
There it is.
Emmanuel Jimenez, whole shot. He got it for reals this time.
For real.
Popping in there right at 6:30. That is awesome. And what's cool about this is that Emmanuel, correct me if I'm wrong, in the chat, did he say he was still on tubes but considering going tubeless?
I think, yeah. So maybe we do the whole kit for him. That would be better, wouldn't it? Than the
Let's
dart.
do the whole.
Yeah.
Let's do the whole kit for Emmanuel. Let's get him over to tubeless, and that way.
Here we go. Look.
I still ride tubes. Yeah, there it is. Hey,
Yeah,
not anymore,
not
buddy.
anymore.
We got you. We got you. This is the president of Stans has got your back on this one. We're going to convert you over, so that'll be sick. Okay, so Emmanuel's getting the kit, and then let's go. We got to spin the wheel up here, Mike. That we have, and we can do. What would be the next? What's the next one?
Well, yeah, I'd say we can do a sealant injector as a bundle. Do that?
Sealant injector, yeah. Let's do that. Joey's gonna be popping up the spin the wheel. Congratulations, Emmanuel. People are saying, Emmanuel saying, what did I miss? What did you miss? You won. You got the conversion kit. We're gonna take you from tubes to tubeless, which is awesome. So congratulations. Make sure get a hold of me, Emmanuel, on the social there on Instagram, and we'll get that information over to Mike. And then the next, we're going with the injector kit. There we go.
Kit. All right.
Injector kit time. Here we go. Let's go. This is like Vegas. The winner of the injector kit, mountain bike Q&A. This one's going out to Miami. Congratulations. Congratulations.
Nice.
We will be getting you out that injector kit. And Mike, I'll get you all these. Mike, was there one more or was that?
You want to do a set of exo core valves?
Yes, the core valves. That would be insane. Okay, for those of you who are still with us, stay with us because we're giving out some exo core valves. Look at this. Wait, before we do that, Emmanuel's saying, no way, now I have to go tubeless. Goodbye, tubes. Yep, you did, man. Congratulations, you will be going tubeless. We also got some congrats there to Johnny Yu out there in Miami. He's going to be getting the injector kit, and he says, wow, thank you guys so much. Yes, he says, I would say spin it again, but yeah, but he wants those. All right, let's go for the exo core valves. Who's going to win those, Mr. Joey Yates?
There we go.
The wheel is spinning. And it is going to land on Trail Monster. These are going out to Arizona. Nice. Congratulations, Trail Monster on the exo core. Dang, those are good giveaways.
That's nice. Yeah.
That is so nice. Mike, tell the folks out there where they can catch you or Stans. Like, where are the best places that people can go to?
Well, NoTubes.com is still alive. New site is launched on Stans.com as well. Took 17 years to get that domain, but we got it. And,
nice.
Yeah, I think the Instagram is at StansNoTubes.
Nice. Follow those if you haven't already, especially the folks that have won. Make sure you follow it. Do us a favor too. When you do get these products, take a picture of you with the products. Tag StansNoTubes on Instagram. Make sure that people see you guys using it and what you think about it. Let us know what you think about all the new products. Mike Bush, the president of Stans, thank you so much for being on the show. I really appreciate the knowledge. And man, I learned a lot about the company. I had no idea how it started, and I know where it's at now, but damn, that's really cool. And the impact the company has had, and you have been there since the beginning, the impact you've had on all of us. Let me just, I'm
going to be on.
I'm going to get a close up of Mike's face here real quick.
This
is Mike Bush. This face has impacted so many riders in the mountain bike community, and we all wonder who is behind it. There he is right there. Take a good look. Take a good look at Mike. Okay, Mike, I'll get you off there.
Thank you.
Oh, man. Go ahead, Mike. You're going to say.
Oh, no. Just appreciate being on. And if anybody has any questions, just hit us up anytime.
Really appreciate it, Mike. Ladies and gentlemen, Mike Bush from StansNoTubes. I love it. Thank you all so much for joining us. Joey, thank you all for the help, and we will see you guys all in the next episode. See you guys soon.